Hi there, it's Julie Davison from juliedavison.com. Today I'm going to show you how to make this slider card featuring the Will Walrus Be Friends stamp set from the Stampin' Up! 2019-2020 annual catalog. I've got some more samples to share with you at the end of the video, so don't go away. I'm going to try to keep this really quick and easy today. I've done some pieces ahead of time, so I'm just going to show you the mechanics of putting this card together. In addition to Will Walrus Be Friends, I'm using the High Seas embossing folder. This is a new 3D embossing folder from Stampin' Up! And you can see that on the background. It pairs really nicely with the stamp set, even though it's not bundled. I also used the 3D embossing folder plate to go in my die cutting machine. It's a little thicker than the clear cutting pads, and it works really well with the new style 3D embossing plates. Don't worry, I'll put all of the item numbers for all of the products that I'm going to use today in the video description. So if you want to go shopping and get any of these, you can do that in my online store at juliedavison.com/shop. I'll also include the measurements so that you can cut these pieces yourself. I'm going to go through them very briefly. I have a regular 8.5 by 5.5. That's half a sheet of cardstock for a standard size card. Then this is 3 3/4 inches by 5 inches. That's going to be the white layer. Seaside spray on top of that is 3.5 by 4 3/4 inches. And then I've got a piece of Seaside spray that's 2 inches by 4.5 inches. This is for the tag. I've pre-stamped and colored with Stampin' blends this little guy, but he's probably, I'd say, like a 2 by 3 piece of designer paper. I also used some Wink of Stella to color in the iceberg. Can you see that shimmer? Really subtle, but so pretty. And then I have just a little scrap piece of paper, and this is going to be for stamping the To Say Hi. So let's start with some punches. We're going to be using the classic label punch as well as the scallop tag topper punch. Now the classic label punch is what creates the track for the slider. I'm going to go all the way in from the bottom, about a ½ inch or so from the side of the cardstock, and I'm going to punch and then move it over, and again go about ½ inch from the side of the cardstock to create a track in the center of the card. Now I tried to not go all the way in and just go halfway, and it was like impossible to line up the punch. Not impossible, but it didn't give me the nice straight punch all the way across. So I definitely suggest going all the way in with that punch. I'm also going to punch the end of the tag with the scallop tag topper punch. This is one of 2 tag topper punches that we have currently in the catalog. I like this one because it has a nice, real simple, clean edge, and then a cute little hole for the ribbon. Okay, so I've done stamping and coloring. I did some stamping here. Let me show you. This stamp actually is all one stamp. It says just floating by to say hi. And so I did a little trick, which I'll show you, to stamp just part of it instead of all of it. So I already did the just floating by. I would have done the same technique as I'm going to do here. I need a longer piece of tape. I'm using just a piece of this is just like Scotch tape. You can use a Post-it note. That's something that's sticky and temporary, easy to take off. So what I'm going to do is cover the area that I do not want to stamp with the tape, and then ink up the rest, and then take the tape off. You can do this. You can get the same result by using a marker to color your stamp instead of the ink pad, but I like how quick and easy it is to use the tape to do this. This technique is called omitting. So I'm stamping this on my scrap paper to say hi. So I get only the part that I want. Now this is a trick. You could line this up over the cardstock, and you could stamp that same message in the window, but I didn't want to take any chances that I was going to mess it up or get some ink on the rest of it. So I'm doing kind of a little cheat, and now I'm just going to glue this behind there. So it looks like it's stamped on this part, but it's not. So let's put some adhesive on the back of that scrap paper and line it up in our window where we want it to go, and then I'm just going to kind of hold it. Right now there's no adhesive on the back of the Seaside spray. I'm just using it as a guide to place the scrap piece underneath. Okay, so now that's lined up where I need it to go in the window, and it's time to attach the walrus with the tag. So I'm going to line up the tag in the window area, and I'm going right to the edge of that window. And we're going to use Stampin' Dimensionals to adhere the walrus. I'm going to do 2 of them. And I'm going to go right in the very corner, right to the edge of this track. And when I attach the walrus, it'll be what keeps the tag from going in too far. Okay, so right at the very end of the track. And then I'm going to put the walrus, which I cut out, on top of that. So the only thing that's attached right now is the walrus to the tag. So it can move freely because nothing is glued to the background piece. Okay, now we're going to layer our pieces together to put the card together. We'll start with the white on the card base, and then we'll add the background layer over it. And it's really important when you're doing this that you only put adhesive on 3 sides. You don't want any adhesive where the tag is going to be moving, or it will not be able to move. So we're going to center that on the white. And because we already used the blue to center our words earlier, when you pull the tag to say hi, it will be just exactly where you need it. Oh, I forgot to bring my ribbon out. This is the point where I would tie my ribbon on the tag. And the great thing about this ribbon, it's really soft. This is a polka dot tulle ribbon. This is Whisper White. We actually have a very vanilla version that Stampin' Up! Just put in the clearance rack yesterday on September 17th. So if you love this ribbon as much as I do, make sure to check out that very vanilla and get a good deal on it, as well as lots of other awesome deals in the clearance rack. This ribbon is nice and soft, so when you put it in the envelope, you can fold it over so that it fits in the envelope just fine, and then when you open up the card, it's really easy to pull on that ribbon to open the card. Just floating by to say hi. Isn't that cute? You could do this slider technique with just about any stamp set. We've got a truck in the annual catalog that would be really good, and any of our other little critters or animals certainly can walk or move across the card with this easy slider fun fold. Let me show you some of the other cards that I've made with Will Walrus Be Friends. I featured this stamp in my Stamp of the Month Club, so you may recognize some of these cards as I've showed them in another video. I did a different video tutorial for this Peekaboo flip card, and if you haven't seen that yet, just leave me a comment and I'll be happy to link to it so that you can see how to make this really fun card. All of these cards use that High Seas embossing folder, such a nice way to highlight and add some texture to these walrus cards. For these cards I used Coastal Cabana, Bermuda Bay, and then the Smoky Slate and Basic Gray. So the color I used on the new card is Gray Granite, so it's a little bit more brown than the Smoky Slate. Both of them I think work really well for the walrus. So there's 2 cards, and then here's 2 more. This one's really clean and simple. Again, using some of the blends to color. I cut along the embossed edges here, and I love the contrast between the top of the waves and the sky. This is a really fun fold. This is a diagonal, like pop-up card, diagonal flip card. I saw this this fun fold card on the Greek Isles cruise, and I'll be doing a tutorial soon to show you how to make it, but this is just it's actually 2 pieces of cardstock, so 2 long pieces of cardstock glued together. So like this is a half a sheet of cardstock cut the long way, and so this takes 2 of those pieces. I'll show you and share all the measurements and show you how to make this card another time. But I hope that you enjoyed learning how to make a slider card, and I hope that you'll give this card a try at home. Thanks so much for watching. Happy stamping!